These songs in my head. Just gotta get them out.
This movie is everything.
I just came from watching this Michael movie, and I was so confused when the credits came up that I had to walk outside and look at the poster on the damn wall of the theater to make sure I was in the right goddamn room.
I don't know if I'm being dramatic or if I'm being messy, but that movie was so fucking cold. Oh my god.
Holy shit. You're confident. You're strong. You're beautiful. You're the greatest of all time.
Hey. Hey.
Got to be there. Then we got.
And this is why you can't listen to critics when it comes to movies about us. They 100% lied about this Michael Jackson movie. They tried to tell us the new Michael Jackson movie was trash. They said it was missing too much. They said it didn't go deep enough. But what they not telling you is this movie actually shows the real foundation of Michael Jackson. From being a kid to signing with Motown and Berry Gordy to linking up with Quincy Jones, they showed the pressure. They showed the fear. They showed how his father controlled everything. And this is the part people missing.
The Michael movie just did the impossible. It saved cinema. It just made the entire $200 million budget back in 2 days. The movie didn't just open big, it exploded. These numbers are unheard of. Biopics don't do this. Music films don't do this. Movies in general do not do this. So far, it made $97 million domestically, $217 million worldwide. And it hasn't even been a week yet. Meanwhile, critics were out here bashing it like they had something personal against it. Dragging it for what? Because the audience pulled up, packed up the theaters, and had the last hee-hee.
Hell no, I just watched a Michael Jackson movie and they turned it off out of nowhere. We just got to the good part. We just started cooking. How the y'all gonna cut it off?
First of all, the bar ate that shit the up. You ate that shit up, yo.
This is your first movie role. You're playing Michael Jackson. Okay, this is big.
That Michael movie was so bad, and I'm gonna blame Jermaine Jackson.
All the negative reviews about the Michael movie are bullshit.
I walked out of this movie so confused because the early reviews are disrespectfully inaccurate.
I think they put something in that Michael Jackson movie because I already seen it once and then I seen it again. And I think I want to go see it again. Like, I don't know.
Has anybody else went and seen the Michael movie and now it's all you think about? It's all you see? You got on social media and interacted with every single post you've seen about the movie. So now my Twitter, my TikTok, my Instagram, all of it is Michael Jackson.
My dad didn't do enough damage to me. I wish my dad beat me into show business the way that Joe Jackson did Michael. My dad just came home mad from work and was screaming about a spoon being left in the sink. If you're gonna be angry at me, have some anger with a purpose. If you're gonna traumatize me, put me in a talent show. Put me in front of Motown. I don't really see Joe Jackson being that bad. I grew up in a black household. I was getting punched in the mouth, and that didn't turn me into a superstar. I wish I would have got sent to an audition or two. Every time Joe came on screen, he was trying to take his belt off. He was creating superstars. And in my opinion, Coleman Domingo carried that Michael Jackson movie. Every time he showed up on the screen, it got dark. Even when Michael Jackson was a grown man, he was still trying to whoop his ass. Michael Jackson was like, alright everybody, this is the farewell tour. I am never, ever, ever performing with my brothers again. And Joe Jackson was sitting at the side of the stage like, oh, I'ma just have to kick his ass one more time. He had me scared. Michael Jackson's lawyers were...
think one of the main reasons why the Michael movie has become such a huge success is because I think it's giving people something they didn't even realize they were missing. As kids, we didn't care what was cool, right? We didn't care about what people thought of us. We weren't worried about careers or paying rent or fitting in. We just simply loved what we loved. And for so many people, Michael Jackson was a huge part of that. He became part of our childhood, and a lot of us, a genuine obsession. And then life happened, right? We grew up, we started worrying about work, relationships, money, responsibilities, what everyone thought of us. And I think somewhere along the way, we drifted away from those things that made us feel like ourselves. And watching this film feels like reconnecting with that person again. Like, I don't think people are going back to the cinema because they're just chasing nostalgia. I think they're going back because they're reconnecting with a version of themselves they haven't seen in years. And I think that's why the negative media chatter around Michael just doesn't seem to hold the same power anymore. Like, for decades, we've been told what to think, right? We've seen headlines, documentaries, all these opinions. But when people sit down and watch this film, they're reminded of something much more personal. They're reminded of dancing around the lounge room, or watching the music videos when they were a kid, or trying to moonwalk, in the lounge room. All of these Michael Jackson memories. And those memories belong to us. Those memories are bigger than headlines. They're bigger than tabloid stories. They're tied to our childhood and to a version of ourselves that existed before the world felt so complicated. Maybe that's why people are watching this movie over and over again. I don't think it's because they're obsessed with Michael Jackson now, but it's because for a few hours they get to reconnect with the kid that was. And maybe that's something we're all looking for. Because sometimes the quickest way to go back to yourself again is to go back to the things you loved before the world told you who you should become.
Okay, why can't you guys read the room? The people have spoken. Did you really think ranking the film 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, bringing up controversy that he went through, saying that they cut this and they hid that, was going to stop people from coming out? Now, it's been nearly 2 decades since he's been gone, and people are still swarming out in cities like Montreal, Paris, New York, Beijing to support the King of Pop, and passing out too. I even heard a Congolese religious song trending that had Michael Jackson's name in it. This is who Michael was. Michael Jackson has fans that aren't even born yet, and it bothers these elites that spend years dragging him. And I think we reached a point where nobody cares what Hollywood critics think. The people are the critics. They love this biopic, and I believe it's now the highest grossing opening weekend for any musical biopic in history, bringing in $270 million globally. Like, that's amazing. And I don't remember this movie going through extreme advertising like The Devil's Wear Prada 2 or Wicked. Now, for the people criticizing this biopic that they left this and they hit that, if you wanted to watch a documentary, there are plenty Michael Jackson documentary out there, which I'm going to be real with you guys. Some of them were an attack on his reputation.
Walked out of this movie so confused because the early reviews are disrespectfully inaccurate. I just got done watching the new Michael Jackson movie, Michael, and I'm convinced some of y'all just want to be different or hate everything because this movie fucking phenomenal. And to think that I almost listened to the online critique and skipped going to the movie theater because now that I've seen it, I don't understand the negative reviews. The acting across the board was strong, from Coleman Domingo playing his father, Nia Long playing his mother, Giuliano Baldi as young Michael, but Jaafar Jackson exceeded my expectations. There were moments in the movies where I actually got chills from how freakishly close Jaafar's look was to Michael. I've seen people complain that the performances were too long, so y'all are gonna really sit here and tell me you didn't like the Human Nature performance? It literally felt like you were watching Michael himself. I've seen people say that the movie was missing a lot, but I was actually surprised at some of the things that they did include. I thought Abuse by Joe was going to be taken out, but they didn't completely avoid it, which was so important because it showed you how much it actually had an impact on Michael. At the end of the day, it's not a documentary. There's not going to be every little thing included. With that being said, I would 100% watch this again. Boo to Rotten Tomatoes. Definitely worth a watch.
Listen, I'm not no movie critic, no movie reviewer, anything like that, so you could take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But that Michael Jackson movie is a 10 out of 10 across the board. Go see the movie. Go see the movie. Wow. Wow. I just saw it last night. I was just out last night with the wife, saw it. Wow. I don't know if I've seen a better movie in the past 5 years. I almost want to stretch it to 10. I don't know if I've seen a better movie. When I tell you I was sitting there in the seat, my eyes did not move from that screen, not one time. Not one time did my eyes move from that screen. and they said the movie was 2 hours long. The movie could have been 4 hours long. I still would have been sat right there. I'm telling y'all, I would have been sat right there watching the whole thing. I would not have moved. I didn't look at my phone not one time. I didn't check the time. Nothing. Nothing. Jaafar Jackson, give that man an Oscar right now. He deserves every award that the Academy, that whatever, can give him. Give him an award. He's going to get an Oscar. If you don't give him an Oscar for that, I thought it was Michael. There was oh my God. There were points when I said, is that Mike? I literally thought it was Mike. Oh my goodness. That movie, that's my favorite movie right now.
That Michael movie was so bad, and I'm gonna blame Jermaine Jackson. The movie lacked depth. It told us nothing new that we didn't already know, that we haven't already gotten from any of these other Michael movies and documentaries. I felt like I saw Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson for a total of 20 minutes in the movie, just spread out in small increments. All Nia Long did was eat ice cream and popcorn every time I saw her on the screen. Then we just had long recreated videos and recreations of his most iconic moments. The movie lacked substance, and it really just felt like it skipped ahead, and we missed so many important pieces. Like, they didn't dive into the fact that Michael was really adamant about Thriller, his album, being a visual album, and that the label and no one supported that idea. He had to be the one to push forward the idea of releasing all of those visuals for his album. They glossed over how close him and Berry Gordy was and how Joe Jackson felt some type of way about their relationship. They also glossed over how manifestation and affirmations were important to Michael. Like, they touched on it, like they showed the post-it notes that he put on his mirror, and they showed him saying like affirmations in the studio, but they glossed over everything. Everything was done so quickly. Like, it was showed like the year 1981, and we have like a 6-minute scene, and next thing you know, we're in 1983. Like, how are we jumping so fast, so far in the head? It's ridiculous. They gave you sprinkles of his vitiligo diagnosis, but they never really got into it. They glossed over the nose jobs. They tried to push the whole Neverland Peter Pan theme, but it just fell flat. I think for the budget and the cast that they had, they could have given us a well-made movie, and they didn't. Because who casted D.R. Cole as Don King? I stand with Janet on this. It was trash. They could have kept it, and I'm gonna blame Jermaine Jackson and his hairstylist.
Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. So please, if this is your first time seeing me, do as much as to subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification, and I go by the name Ghislaine. So today we are looking on our legend, our icon, Michael Jackson, and the latest movie that was published by his nephew. The movie was actually amazing, and I've seen a lot of reaction in this video, and there's a lot more reaction to come. So please, let's take a moment to watch the complete video, and we're going to talk more by the end of this video on the strategic intelligence they used to refurbish this particular movie, because if you look at this movie so closely, you cannot differentiate whether Michael Jackson was actually the one playing the role or his nephew, because the intelligence used to refurbish this video was very, very effective, and I totally agree with that. So please, let's watch these clips. I'll be right back.
Here's my thoughts. I don't care about the trial. How about that? I do not care. There are documentaries about it. Go find it. Go research it. There's plenty of stuff to talk about the trial. I want 2 hours of watching the King of Pop be the King of Pop. How about that?
And this is why you can't listen to critics when it comes to movies about us. They 100% lied about this Michael Jackson movie. They tried to tell us the new Michael Jackson movie was trash. They said it was missing too much. They said it didn't go deep enough. But what they're not telling you is this movie actually shows the real foundation of Michael Jackson. From being a kid to signing with Motown and Berry Gordy to linking up with Quincy Jones, they showed the pressure. They showed the fear. They showed how his father controlled everything. And this is the part people missing. You actually see why Michael became Michael, why he felt alone, why he felt more connected with animals than people, why he built his own world. That wasn't random, that was trauma. This movie shows when he finally stood up to his father. The singing, flawless. The dancing, on point. Jaafar Jackson, he didn't just look like Mike. He had the moves down pat. And yeah, they didn't show everything, but what they did show, they got that right. This movie reminded me of why Michael Jackson wasn't just a star. Why Michael Jackson was different. You ever hear the term out of sight, out of mind? You forget things when you don't see things. This movie right here made me remember how great Michael Jackson was. Made me remember how much I love Michael Jackson. Mind you, this movie shows you there will never be another star as big as Michael Jackson. You can have the debates. You can say if this person might be bigger. Nah, not bigger. It's Mike. And this movie shows every single bit of that. They want you to believe it's trash, but it's not. It's Mike. And it's supposed to be making more parts. Get to that. I'm out.
Okay, I saw the Michael Jackson movie last night, and this is gonna sound controversial, but I enjoyed the film. Now, I did see the movie in a room full of black comedians, so maybe that's the difference. You know, for me, I had an enhanced experience because it was a lot of funny black folks in there, and you need people like that when you watch a movie like this to add a little seasoning to the script. Because the script is lacking, okay? They skip a lot of stuff. See them do like 2 rehearsals at the house. They get their first gig. ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. And then Michael has a mustache and you're like, whoa. But he does have like 4 different noses in the film. He start wide and it gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. But we don't see the pinched about to fall off nose. We don't see that version. We only see Michael as a black man in this movie. We don't get into his white woman era. Okay, so they must be saving that for part 2. Coleman Domingo plays the dad. He's not trying to be funny, but he's the funniest part of the whole movie, okay? Here's the infamous Joe Jackson nose that they all tried to erase from their faces. Oh my God, do I have that nose? Michael's real life nephew, Jaafar Jackson, plays him in the movie. Jaafar? His name is Jaafar. I love him already, okay? He did a great job. This is his first ever acting role. He acted his little 29-year-old ass off. This is Jermaine's son. His brother's name is, you guessed it, Your Majesty. Damn, should I have a baby? I didn't know we could name them things like Your Majesty. Watch this space. Watch this. Watch this space. He had the voice and everything. He's like, my name is Michael. I'm like, that's Michael Jackson. I feel like he was wearing archival pieces throughout the movie. This looks like a dupe. He got this from Temu right before they shot this scene, because that's not the, I don't like that. 39%, that feels low to me. I feel like this movie deserves like a 62 or like a 67, 69. I was entertained. The movie does skip a lot of stuff. Truly, if you're a Michael Jackson fan, you're gonna be like, what the hell? But it just goes to show you how much he did, because the movie's 2 hours and it didn't really feel like 2 hours to me. They gotta squoze a little bit more in there. Janet Jackson is not in the movie, but the monkey is. Anyway, go see the movie with your black friend who looks like Michael Jackson and your light-skinned friend who looks like Michael Jackson. You'll have a great time. That's the only way to do it.
I just came from watching this Michael movie. And I was so confused when the credits came up that I had to walk outside and look at the poster on the damn wall of the theater to make sure I was in the right goddamn room. Huh? I ain't know what I was watching. First of all, they rushed the film. And I understand Michael Jackson whole career was very long. He was busting down in the 60s, okay? But for y'all to fast forward through his entire life and make the entire thing about the Jackson 5 and him getting away from Joe Jackson, his life was worth way more than that. This entire movie, you could tell that the Jackson family and his estate worked on this together. The whole movie. Now listen, hold up. Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson, phenomenal job. I couldn't stand your ass, Coleman. You get an award. Nia Long as Michael Jackson mama, phenomenal girl. That's how you act. Jaafar Jackson as Michael Jackson, boy, you know you getting an Emmy or something, huh? But the movie and whoever wrote the script, horrible. The credits came up in 1988. That's when Michael Jackson first started pumping. We ain't even get to the Egyptian joint when they was pop locking with the pharaohs. Come on. We ain't even get down there. Oh, y'all with Busta Rhymes. We ain't do nothing from my lifetime, the whole movie was about the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson trying to get away from Joe Jackson. So I know y'all just sat around and kikied about y'all daddy. Oh, make sure you put this in it. This how we was raised. Don't nobody want to watch no whole damn movie about y'all. Y'all had to put a hat on Tito so we know who he was. Michael Jackson, if he was here, he would have ripped y'all asses a new one. I'm not rating this movie because it shouldn't have been called Michael. It should have been Michael getting away from Joe Jackson and standing on his own. I know the title long, but that's how I goddamn felt at the end. They showed one performance of Michael by himself, and after they did that, the credits came up. I said, I know damn well this ain't it must be a part 2 coming on. I can't rate this, y'all. This is out of my pay grade. Y'all do with that information what you will. I know Michael moonwalking in his grave. I'm just a messenger.
Michael's opening weekend proves something people in film conversations keep forgetting. Critics and audiences are not watching movies the same way. Michael got hit pretty hard by critics. A lot of reviews were cold, complaints about pacing, structure, what the film left out, how it handled certain parts of his life, and audiences clearly didn't give a shit. It had a $97 million domestic opening and a $217.4 million global debut. For a biopic, that is massive. It opened bigger than films like Bohemian Rhapsody and Straight Outta Compton, which tells you that Michael Jackson is still a global event. People were not casually going to see this movie. They were showing up because Michael means something to them. Critics and audiences were basically on different planets here because audiences were judging it differently. For a lot of people, emotionally connecting with the film matters way more than whether every dramatic beat is perfectly written. Did the music hit? Did the performances work? Did it feel like Michael? Did it pull me back into those moments? That's what audiences cared about. People bought tickets because Michael Jackson shaped their childhood, their family memories, their relationship to music. They wanted the experience, and that's the difference. Critics often judge craft first, audiences judge connection first. At the end of the day, the box office is not decided by reviews. It's decided by people deciding if something feels worth leaving the house for. Michael became an event. It crossed generations, it crossed races, it crossed international markets. It became communal viewing, and that's why it exploded. Critics can shape the conversation, but weekends like this remind everybody. Audiences still decide what becomes a phenomenon.
Hey, I want to say something about this movie, Michael, the biopic. Yeah, there have been a lot of criticisms. Oh, they left this out. How could they not talk about Diana Ross? They left these songs out. They didn't get into all the dirt. Yeah, well, I have something to say to that. Those criticisms and the 30% scores on Rotten Tomatoes. And what I have to say in response to that is shut the fuck up. This was not journalism. This was cinema. This was the celebration of the greatness of a force of nature that we were blessed enough to experience in this timeline, in this dimension, that was Michael Jackson. We will never see another entertainer like musician presence like that again. See, for those of us who were there in the 70s and 80s and 90s, let's go back to the 70s and 80s when we didn't have 50 billion social media networks and 5,000 channels on cable TV, and you could have, you know, entertainment based on your own little idiosyncrasies. No, we didn't have that shit. We had 4 goddamn channels on TV, and we had Muscratchin' radio. That was it. And if there was an artist who somehow was able to connect to us all, then it was a worldwide phenomenon. You know, yeah, we got stars today, but it was different. Y'all just, you wouldn't get it if you weren't there. And then the other thing, this was the origin story of a superhero. This was Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. So those who are saying there was no story, shut the fuck up again. There was clearly a story. There was clearly a hero. There was clearly a villain. And shut the fuck up. It was great. The performances were off the chain. I want to say that this kid, Jaafar Jackson, oh my freaking God. This, first of all, the movie wouldn't have been as great if it wasn't for him, and no one else could have pulled this off. Like, this was a brilliant move to cast this guy because he's literally has the DNA of Michael Jackson, and he's related to him. Jermaine's his dad, and clearly that just screams off the stage. He the moves, the way he spoke, the mannerisms. I mean, this was a masterpiece. And if you want dirt, if you want grime, that wasn't it. If you want an emotional origin story of a superhero, then with dope music, go see it. It was great.
All the negative reviews about the Michael movie are bullshit. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a huge Michael fan. I'm saying that because not only have I seen the movie twice, because I also understand the movie and what story they're trying to tell and how they're trying to tell it. And the negative reviews clearly show that not only did you so-called critics not even watch the damn movie, but also that you don't understand the movie, its backstory, and the full production process. Now, normally I don't address false negative reviews, but this right here, this shit is personal. So let's get into it. As of right now, the Michael movie is currently sitting at a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Earlier today, it was actually sitting at a 27, but a few more reviews came in and it bumped up a little bit. But if you actually click on those reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, you'll see something that is a clear indication of a smear campaign, because all of the negative reviews are consistently pointing out the fact that this movie glazed over allegations, skipped past controversy, and tried to paint Michael in a perfect light. But here's the thing. The studio was not trying to skate over allegations. In fact, the movie was supposed to release in 2024, but had to reshoot the entire third act because it addressed allegations that it legally could not address. So for you to have that information be public and then watch the movie and negatively review it because it didn't include the allegations is a clear sign that y'all are trying to make this movie flop. If you're a so-called certified film journalist or a official critic, shouldn't you know the history behind the person that the movie is featured? Because even if there was no third act that had to be reshot due to legal problems, you would know that if this movie stops during the bad era, specifically the bad tour in 1988, that is 5 years before the first allegations even came out. So how in the hell can you watch a movie that ends before the allegations came and then criticize the movie for not including allegations? Also, why do you want the movie to just be full of allegations that he multiple times was proven innocent over? Oh, but when the Elvis biopic came out and there was no emphasis on him marrying a 14-year-old, that didn't get no negative press. Am I saying that this movie is perfect? No, but it is still a damn good movie. And I do have some very valid criticisms, but those criticisms have nothing to do with what the negative reviews are saying. I also find it very ironic that when all of the screenings and premieres were done overseas, like in Berlin and Ireland, all of the reviews were positive. But as soon as the early screenings and premieres hit the States, all of a sudden, now there's negative press. Now there's bad reviews. Now the movie sucks, which is very ironic because if you know anything about Michael Jackson's life, you would know that at some point he stopped touring in the States because of the negative press that he was getting. He got more love overseas at a certain point in his career than he did in the States. And it's just really funny to me that once again, proving that he was right. Overseas reviews are positive, but as soon as they hit the States, they're all negative. It's like, what did you want? Did you want a 2-hour movie about pedophilia? Because, you know, the Rotten Tomatoes critics, they love Leaving Neverland, which is currently sitting at a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which was an entire documentary about a false allegation that was probably more false than the other false allegations. Michael Jackson has had to deal with bullshit press since the 80s. Before the allegations came out. Now that the embargo was lifted, I can discuss this movie a lot more openly. And I do have some criticisms about the movie because no, it was not perfect. But it seems like everything that should be criticized is not being criticized, and everything that shouldn't be criticized is what's being highlighted right now. It's just really a damn shame that almost 17 years after that man's death, he still has to deal with people trying to drag his name down for literally no reason. Go support this movie. That's all I gotta say.
Nobody will ever be able to be like Mike. Nobody will ever be able to portray his character just like Jaafar did. And I'm just saying that out of pure honesty. This is not for me to raise bait at all. There has been many people who's literally changed the way their face look just so they can look like Michael. And they can dance like Michael too. But there's one thing that all these impersonators don't have. That is the DNA. There's just something about those little nuances that Jaafar was doing in this movie that really said, oh my God, that's Michael. But I don't think anybody else could make that happen unless they had Michael's DNA. And he looks so much like Michael in so many fucking ways. Those little gestures that Michael did with his face, Jaafar did it to the fucking T. And there's a lot of people who say that this was one of the greatest biopic movies of all time. As a matter of fact, the first week it grossed over 217 million on the first week. And Rotten Tomatoes want to be a bitch and give this biopic 38% Rotten Tomatoes. Why is that? Why is that exactly? Jaafar Jackson wasn't the only one who auditioned for this movie. They actually auditioned thousands of people to make sure what they were seeing in Jaafar was not a hoax. And they knew Jaafar was the only one, but they had to really make sure, so they auditioned thousands of people. And out of all those people, Jaafar, even though he did not have every single dance down pat, he learned every fucking dance and became the Michael, the legend, the king of pop, the greatest dancer, singer, artist, video creator of all time. I didn't say he created the videos. I'm saying the videos that Michael was in, every single music video was absolutely phenomenal. Michael Jackson is the greatest of all time. And I'm not just going to say the king of pop. I'm saying he's the greatest of all time, people. All jokes aside, I am very, very serious. This Michael movie was phenomenal. My favorite scene was close to the end, probably like one of the last scenes before he got on stage and he performed bad. The turnaround was the best fucking part of the movie, because when he turned around, that shit was so motherfucking dope that it reminded me that Michael doesn't have to dance, he doesn't have to sing, he doesn't have to do shit on stage to make everybody in the crowd faint. All you gotta do is stand there. Michael Jackson can stand there for 3 hours on stage and have the greatest performance of all time. No cap. I'm not joking. Michael Jackson can literally stand for 3 fucking hours on a goddamn stage. Nobody else in the world can fucking do that and have the best show of all time. Type shit. You guys can say whatever y'all want to say in the comments, but I promise you, you're wrong. And if you haven't seen this movie, get your ass up. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. I promise you, do not listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Listen to the audience. And listen to your heart. Listen to yourself. If you was a Michael Jackson fan, you will understand. Say whatever you want to say in the comments, but I promise you, you're wrong.
Y'all seen this girl say she don't know what type of voodoo was in the Michael Jackson movie, and I wholeheartedly agree. Y'all, since I went to see the Michael Jackson movie like last week or whatever, I have not stopped thinking about it. Like, every time I talk to my friends, I'm like, dang, I can't wait to get off the phone with y'all so I can listen to some Michael Jackson. I even told my friends that I wake up thinking about Michael Jackson and go to sleep thinking about Michael Jackson. Like, I can hear his songs in my head. Since then, literally, my For You page is full of Michael Jackson. I've always been a Michael Jackson fan. But like, y'all, like this is going crazy. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, the obsession I have right now with Michael Jackson is just so unreal. Like, I'm literally on the way to class, y'all, and I'm like, dang, I cannot wait to finish this video so I can play some Michael Jackson. Like, y'all, it's crazy. I literally cannot think without thinking of Michael Jackson. Like, I have been researching his whole family, him, like everything about him that I did not know before. I am literally looking up. Like, I'm finding so much information about this man. Like, at this point, he needs to just come back. I have to meet him in person, because I'm telling y'all, like, my mind is just so consumed with Michael Jackson. Like, it had to be something in that book.
So after watching those clips, you have actually seen how amazing and wonderful the movie is, and we all love our legend, our icon, Michael Jackson. And many viewers or audience, people who have actually watched the video, if you have watched the video, you're going to see that actually his nephew was actually very perfect when it comes to his role. You can't even tell if he's the one playing those parts, or is the actual Michael Jackson which has come back, because at some point of that movie I actually thought I was watching the real Michael Jackson. Meanwhile, majority of the fans, the audience that have actually watched this video, like they are giving their reasons that they don't like the video, because they think there's a lot of things that were not put in the video in which was very, very important. For me, I think they are actually right, they are not wrong, but this is a video to celebrate our legend Michael Jackson. It is not a documentary, because majority fans, they wanted to see a lot, and meanwhile we are trying to celebrate the legend here. We are not trying to do a documentary, so I don't see any issue with this particular video. The only issue I can figure out in this whole video of a thing is just the ending of the movie. I don't think the ending was well scripted, but when it comes to the acting part, his nephew was so amazing in playing his role, and actually was so warming. And let's not forget that Michael Jackson was the one that made entertainment so flourishing, amazing, and very, very, very entertaining. He's the one that opened a lot of breakthrough, especially for the Black Americans, because back then they didn't see the Black Americans like there was a lot of discrimination. I don't know if you're getting, yes, but since Michael Jackson did a lot to try to break majority of those rules, those mindsets that were already implemented in majority of the Americans, and that have actually helped the present music industry, entertainment industry we are witnessing now. It's all thanks to our legend, our icon, Michael Jackson. He was so amazing. Like, damn it. I really, really love the movie. I don't know if you have watched the movie, you're going to understand more better. But if you have not watched the movie, I would recommend you to go and do so. The movie is so amazing. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'm pleading, do as much as to subscribe to my channel. It matters a lot to me. So comment your thoughts about this whole movie of a thing, and share to your friends, your loved ones. And before we go, I don't know, but I think it's almost 17 years since Michael Jackson passed away. But after watching that particular video, like, I can't believe that actually he was actually dead, because his nephew made the video so realistic and amazing. Yeah, and anywhere Michael Jackson is right now, he is going to be very, very happy with his nephew, because what he did was actually, it was very touching and amazing. I really love that, and I wish they can do it for more, like, legends who were actually in the entertainment also, but are no more, because that is amazing.